Another day, another Deadlock update, with Graves and McGinnis finally getting their comeuppance, as this deadly duo's reign of terror in urn fights over the past few patches will massively be stalled following tonight's changes. However, Apollo has picked himself up and licked his wounds from his recent round of kneecapping nerfs, once again sharpening his steel and donning his fencer's mask to strike fear through the cursed apple to prove that he has no equal whilst carving a path through the masses. So, let's drop into tonight's episode of Patch Notice and kick things off. As always, I'm your host Jacky from Dead Air. Valve has been keeping Daisy and I busy this week with lots of urn-focused hotfixes shipping left, right and centre. So it's a pleasant change of pace that Daisy is back to making hero-related graphics this time. If you want to be the first to know when something changes in Deadlock though, don't forget to subscribe. It's free and massively helps support us both, especially as we're very close to hitting 70,000 subscribers. Let's break down what's changed then with this hero balance centered update. Firstly, it's Apollo that's centre stage. Recently, the Ixian Fencer was hit with a round of mechanical tweaks and nerfs. Now he's been blessed with a couple of buffs to mitigate his diminishing power. His first ability, Disengaging Sigil's Tier 2 AP reward that grants a fire rate bonus to his weapon's basic attacks, has been buffed, with a 10% increase to its rate of fire. You'll now gain a plus 30% fire rate bonus for 10 seconds after casting Disengaging Sigil. His third ability, Flawless Advance, also got a few tweaks. The Tier 1 ability point heal granted on perfect timed hits was also buffed, going up from a 30 HP heal on perfect timed hits pre-patch to a 35 HP heal after the update. Alongside this, it also saw minor healing scale increases too, with the scaling ratio going up from 0.75 to 1.0. Additionally, the Tier 2 cooldown reduction has also been increased by a further -2 second reduction to the ability's CD. It'll now grant a 12-second reduction instead of 10 seconds. Lastly, let's talk about his ultimate, Atani Lo San, the Ixian name of his fourth ability that translates to I have no equal. This has seen some increases that grant the ability better nuke damage and overall spirit scaling. It'll now be dealing 200 delayed spirit damage after you charge through a target, a flat 10 damage increase to the base ability values, alongside a spirit scaling increase of 0.3. going up from 2.3 spirit scaling on the delayed damage pre-patch to 2.6 scaling post-patch. With that said, Apollo bounds away, and dropping into the notes next is Darcy Graves. Firstly, let's talk about her Jar of Dead. Deadhead's base damage output and spirit scaling damage ratios have both been nerfed tonight, with the base damage going down from 20 with a 0.31 spirit scaling ratio to now be 17 damage with a 0.27 damage spirit scaling ratio. So it's a flat damage nerf to her deadheads there. However, it gets worse for her Ghouls tonight. Ghouls summoned via both Grasping Hands and Borrowed Decree have had a flat 15% damage reduction applied to them, so you've lost a lot of DPS from the shambling Ghouls in one swift change. You'll notice this nerf in overall damage output, but you might not notice this next change at first glance, although you definitely need to be aware of it. Valve changed the soul bounty tied to Ghouls. This is the soul value that's dropped upon killing them. It's going up by 10 souls at its base value, with an increase of 2 additional souls to the value every minute that passes. This is a massive increase, with the numbers going up from a 25 base soul value with a 1 soul increase per minute elapsed, to now being 35 souls at a base bounty with a 2 soul per minute increase. This is definitely something you'll want to think about now, and no longer just freely spam Ghouls for unmaintained lane shoves, with heroes actually getting a decent chunk of change from killing the Ghouls now. So you'll now actually be feeding souls to the enemy team, and do need to think a little bit more critically about good summons rather than just going for overwhelming numbers with no thought. Small details, but big implications soul bloat-wise. As Graves locks horns with McGinnis though, let's talk about Maggie McGinnis and see what nerfs are in store for the mechanic tonight. It's all changes related to Heavy Barrage, her ultimate. The first change being a direct and lofty reduction in the range of Heavy Barrage itself, going down from 50 meters to 35 meters. A huge reduction in total distance that she can fire out rocket salvos. Here's some comparisons of the distance before and after tonight's update. From the middle bridge at Blue Lane, this will now be your new maximum range. And in relation to laning distance, this change is very evident in its overall nerf there. On Yellow Lane, from the bridge, pre-patch, you could reach the Guardian. Now, her range will fall massively short, just around the stairs of the lane itself. Something you'll need to keep in mind when using Heavy Barrage now, McGinnis mains. Additionally, the slowing effect that was applied to heroes has also been toned down in regards to the dash slow itself. You'll now only reduce dash by 18%, rather than the previous value of 30%. This might not sound like a lot, but it is a substantial difference in being able to avoid the barrage of damage with quick thinking and use of stamina. However, the final change in tonight's update is a flat damage nerf to the tier 3 AP upgrade. It's gone down from an increase of plus 18 damage to now only grant plus 15 extra damage. You may think that's only a reduction of minus 3 damage at the tier 3 reward, but here's how it translates into real world situations. Before the update, at max boon level 32, with the tier 3 AP reward unlocked on Heavy Barrage, you'd be dealing an average of 320 damage per second, with a maximum damage output if all rockets hit being 4,566. Now it'll be dealing an average of 300 DPS, with a total max damage if all rockets hit clocking in at 4,314. So you're losing around 200 damage or so from the best case scenario of Heavy Barrage usage in games. With this in mind, turret and gun hybrid McGinnis builds are probably the way to go if you've been running alt build religiously lately. Magic Carpet and Glass Cannon looking real appetizing right now. Cough cough. Dropping away from McGinnis though, let's talk about Pocket Fairfax. Two quick changes here that won't move the needle too much in reality. Firstly, the cooldown reduction granted from the tier 3 AP upgrade for Flying Cloak has gone down by 1 second, from minus 14 seconds to minus 13 seconds. From Clothing to Frogs though, let's talk about Affliction. Pocket's ultimate had a reduction to its damage increase granted with the 5 ability point investment. It's going down from plus 18 damage per second to plus 14 damage per second on Affliction's dot, giving you 48 DPS with a spirit scaling ratio of 0.33 at tier 3 going forward. Running away into the subway as Pocket goes down, Silver comes up for a round of out of left field nerfs. Slamfire saw 2 tweaks relating to its current health as damage application. The base ability value was nerfed by 0.5%, down from 3% to 2.5%. And even the tier 3 AP investment upgrade reward saw a reduction too, going down from 8% to 7%. So overall, a 1.5% reduction to the damage multiplier being removed tonight. Her third human form ability, Entangling Bowler, also had a slight reshuffle in its power structure, increasing the base ability cooldown to 23 seconds instead of 20, with the tier 2 AP power spike now granting a minus 8 second reduction instead of minus 5 seconds. So you'll have a longer base cooldown with it balancing out from your second AP upgrade. And finally, for when the Lycan's curse takes over and she puts down her rifle, Heir of the Dog, and instead uses her claws, dubbed the Loose Muzzle, as her weapon of choice, she'll have a 5% reduction to her fire rate, going down from 65% to 60% post-patch. Sprinting away though, let's move on to the Undying Man himself, Victor. Just the one patch note tonight, and this is related to his ultimate, Shocking Reanimation. The tier 3 AP reward that reduces its cooldown has been slightly nerfed. Before the update, it was applying a minus 130 second cooldown reduction when unlocked. Now it'll only be minus 120 seconds. So you'll have a 110 second cooldown on the ability at max AP now. A slight nerf, but one to be aware of timing wise for popping Victor's ultimate. As Victor jumps away, our final hero in the patch notes tonight, Yamato, drops back into today's episode. Yamato got some serious buffs in the most recent balance changes. These nerfs look to alleviate some of that power increase, it seems. Power Slash was absolutely blowing players away with high spirit builds. This is because back on the 22nd of May, Valve bumped the value up from 1.86 spirit scaling to 2.1. However, in tonight's update, it's been reduced from 2.1 to 1.85, effectively putting it back to how it used to be before the mid-May balance changes. It was pretty powerful though, so fair's fair. And finally, Flying Slash lost 2 meters from its base ability cast range, going down from 30 meters to 28 meters, meaning the total range of the ability at tier 3 will now be 43 meters of length on the tether. And there you go, that's all the changes for the final Deadlock update in May. June's right around the corner though, and who knows what changes are in store. What do you think they'll change next? Let us know in the comments. Thanks again to our amazing YouTube members who make it possible to bring you these high quality videos. Dead Air wouldn't be where it is today without your direct support. If you want to be able to fund future videos, consider becoming a member today and get your name featured in the end credits of Patch Notice. Right then, thanks for watching guys, that's another episode in the bag. Daisy and I will see you next time, bye bye for now.